All right, so we're going to get started. So I just want to thank you all for coming and joining us for the BCI User Forum. This is one of the keystone sort of foundations of this meeting from my viewpoint. And I've got to see it over the years. Teresa Vaughn has done an amazing job helping sort of bring this to life, and very, very happy to be the one who gets to introduce this today. Just to give a little bit of background on the preparation for this, there was a committee of us who were working together with Ian Burkhart, who was originally going to be our moderator. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us today, but we worked with Ian to come up with some questions that we thought might be prevalent to talk with real users. And since we are here in Calgary, in Banff, near Edmonton and Calgary, really excited to be able to have some of the families that have been part of our program for a while to come talk with you all about their experiences in BCI. So we worked on some questions and we asked them to think about what they wanted to answer, rank these questions. And Adam here is a pediatric neurologist from the Alberta Children's Hospital. He's been doing BCI work for at least 10 years. I met Adam 10 years ago, actually, at the BCI Society meeting, because he and I were the only two people who had posters there about PEDS BCI. And so then I bothered him for 4 years in my PhD to give me a job, and I got a postdoc with him, which was great. And so it's my distinguished honor to introduce Adam Curran, who has done so much for the pediatric BCI space, being one of the founding individuals of BCI for Kids, as well as the BCI CAN network, trying to push pediatrics to the next level. So Adam will be your moderator, and he will take it away to introduce the rest.
Okay, great. Thanks, Eli. And Eli still bothers me today, for the record, but he's been an amazing force in our pediatric BCI world and in this meeting, as I'm sure you've all noticed. So I'd like to thank Eli, and in particular our guests, for really helping to put our young BCI users really literally on the stage today, and to hear from them and their families about this particular element that we're really passionate about here, and we hope grabs everybody's interest. So I'd like to start by having our young users and families and patient partners introduce themselves. And Tristan, I thought maybe you and your mom could go first, if you'd like to tell everybody who you are and where you're from.
I'm Tristan from Parkland County.
Yes, Tristan Froma from Parkland County. We're just outside of Edmonton, and I am his mom, Rennie Froma.
Great. Thank you both for coming. And Tristan's going to be late to the Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup final game. He's donating his time to us, missing the first period, so thank you, Tristan, for that. Nina and Thomas, can you go next?
Yeah. My name is Nina Nagy, and this is my son, Thomas. Thomas is almost a teenager, so he'll be a teenager shortly in the summer here. And we've been involved with the BCI program at the Alberta Children's Hospital for about 2 years now, primarily using the mobility trainer with his wheelchair. So.
Super. Thank you. Thanks so much for coming. And Peyton.
Hi, everybody. My name's Peyton Shaw. I'm an undergraduate biomedical engineering student, and I recently worked as a patient partner on a master's study that looked to incorporate BCI, FES, and social media, which you might have heard in the talk yesterday. I'm here to give my experience as a patient partner, and I'm excited to be here.
Great. Thank you all. And what we'll do, as Eli mentioned, there were some short list of questions that were carefully curated with input from patients and families. And so we'll start with those. And of course, anybody can chip in and answer however you like. You can pass if you don't feel like answering. And we should have enough time for audience participation too. So if people think of questions, please save them. So let's jump right in. We'll start with the first question. Maybe Nina and Thomas, if you don't mind. How would you define success in the BCI space for yourself and your family?
Yeah, I think I was thinking about this question. Really, our journey so far, a lot of the technologies and things that we've used to date have not really worked well for Thomas. And we've been really looking for different ways for him to encourage his independence and encourage getting to know him and have him express himself. So when we became a part of BCI and he was able to use the trainer, it really was hopeful for us because it was a way for him to be able to move and do things independently. And so I think that's one of the key measures of success for us. And he has 2 younger siblings as well, and having them be a part of the training that we did at the Children's Hospital, they got to be involved in some of the, he had a little race car track where he would move his trainer around the gym, and they got to be a part of that. That was really key for us. Having our family be able to do activities together is important, and so that was one of the success measures, I think. So we're hopeful that as he continues to grow and become more proficient with BCI and learning about the new technologies out there, that there'll be more opportunities for that with our family.
Great, thanks so much, and thanks for mentioning the siblings. So a shout out to the brothers and sisters, some of whom are here. Really, the engagement of the entire family has been, I think, a really common thread through our program experience. So thanks for sharing that. Tristan, Rennie, any thoughts about what BCI success looks like for you?
I love it. And it's funny. And when I was younger, I wasn't sure how it worked, but now that I know how it works, it's I have a lot of fun with it.
That's great, thank you. And I think I heard you say you have a lot of fun with it for sure, and you know how it works. And I think it's your personal experience that's so valuable to us about understanding how it works and how you want it to work is what we're, I think, all constantly interested in learning. Do you want to add to that, Rennie?
Yeah, I think knowing how it works, having that experience, maybe it can help you make your own goals and what you want to see BCI do. So Tristan can better understand what he wants BCI to do for him if he just keeps using it, and he can see what it can do, that sort of thing.
Great, thank you. And thanks for solidifying that theme that I think we've heard throughout the last 2 days of hearing from end users and families about what success means for the future, what it means, how it should be motivating us to try and achieve that with your help. So great answers, thanks. Let's move on to question 2. And maybe anybody who'd like to answer, maybe Peyton, we'll let you tackle this one first. What has your reality or experience been in using BCI, maybe compared to your original perceptions of other treatments or technologies or therapies?
Yeah, so I had a stroke when I was younger, and I went through a rehabilitation process that included physiotherapy mainly. So I wasn't really didn't have any experience with BCI until I joined on as a patient partner. So I didn't really know what to expect, but being a part of the study, I got to see differences and challenges that were faced using the BCI, but also successes. One thing that stands out in particular is when we were talking to one of the participants, she said that in foods class, she was able to roll out the dough, which she had never been able to do before. So that was something that really had made a big difference in her life. And I was like, something I take for granted so often really made a huge impact in her life. So it's just amazing to see what the BCI can do for different users.
Thanks, Peyton. I like your selfless answer of how you've seen it work for other people. And this is the BCI FES work that Anna presented in the plenaries yesterday, for those of you who were there. So great perspective from that point of view. Tristan, you mentioned how it works and it's fun. Do you remember what it was like when you first heard about it? And how do you look at it now that you have this experience?
When I first heard about it, it was shocking, but now it's an old hat.
It's an old hat.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And Nina and Thomas, you mentioned it's been a couple years that you've been involved. you remember what it was like when we first talked to you about it, and
Yeah.
maybe how things have changed?
Well, for me, it was pretty hard to comprehend the whole concept of it, and then to see the progression. I think, he's become a lot more proficient in it, and that's been practicing weekly and getting the opportunities to practice with it. Even calibration of his cap has gotten a lot faster and things like that. So it's really improved over the time that we've used it, and I don't know. I really, when I heard about it, I didn't really know what to expect. It just seemed very, when he was born, like this didn't really exist. So for us now to know that there's this technology out there and see all the advancements, it's really, really hopeful. So, yeah.
Great. Thanks very much. If we could stick with you, maybe I'll let you tackle question 3 first. And a nice segue, what you were just saying. How can we improve BCI user adoption and avoid abandonment going forward?
Yeah, really, I'll go back to, we've used other devices for various things, and we've abandoned a lot of them. Basically, ease of use, simplicity of use, and having access to it to be able to practice it. I think when you're trying to learn anything, I look at my other kids learning to do sports and different activities, like they have to have access to the equipment and be able to practice. So, that would be a key aspect of having the support as well. It's a very advanced technological piece of equipment, and to understand how to troubleshoot things like that and having those supports in place is also important. But yeah, ease of use and access are key.
Great. Thanks. Peyton, did you have thoughts from your experience with the young Flick Talk patients about abandonment and adoption? Like, how do you think we're going to get through to those teenagers with their hemiparesis who are trying to use BCI?
Yes, absolutely. I know I keep coming back to the study, but I think a really important thing is engagement. When we were first looking at the study, using BCI and FES, or just BCI by itself alone, isn't very engaging, and for kids in particular, doesn't make them want to do therapy. So I think it's important to incorporate an element of fun or an activity into the BCI equipment so that it's more engaging and less likely that they don't want to do it.
Great. Thanks, Peyton. Tristan, Rennie, do you have thoughts? Maybe your past experience with other technology that didn't work, or how we can reduce abandonment or improve adoption of BCI for young people?
Yeah, bring the fun to it.
Yeah.
It's very clear that BCI can be fun, and I think, and going back to Peyton's study, that's kind of what we're trying to do, I think, and many people on our team and other people in the room are thinking about things like gamification and sports and activities and music, and things that that are fun, things that are just genuinely for the sake of fun, and it's a great reason to push forward. So thanks for saying that. Okay, question 4. I'll just put this out there. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, so feel free to jump in. BCI is often accessed through clinical referral or connection. In our small programs that we've started, they're provided through the hospital. How interested are you as families in possibly directly purchasing BCI yourself? That is, maybe doctors like me and therapists are, I would say, are invaluable, but let's say that, you become competent and skilled and you'd like to have the independence to use this technology in your own life. How do you feel about that? Would that be something that would be of interest? Is that a way to improve access, or to people maybe who don't have access to a pediatric BCI program, or what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I can jump in. I'd definitely be interested, depending on the cost, of course, and ensuring that the technology doesn't become obsolete as soon as I buy it. So these are things to consider about. And for the reason I mentioned before, I think if we had the technology available in our home, we would use it more often. And I think you see progression when you do use anything more often and you get the opportunity to practice it in different settings and different contexts. So I would be interested. We have been really fortunate that we do live close to the Children's Hospital, so making that trip over there to use the BCI in the clinical setting hasn't been that difficult for us. But I imagine, for those who live further away, it could be a bit of a trek. So I would be interested for those reasons. And yeah.
Great, thanks. Rennie, Tristan, thoughts?
Well, I would want to, but
I think we've talked about it before. Sometimes it's hard to picture it. Sometimes it's hard to picture how it works in our day-to-day life and just how that looks. So when we first started, we didn't have this clear path to what we wanted it to be. We didn't really know a lot about it. We were just trying it. It was just this really cool technology, and picturing using it, it was difficult at first, and I think it would be different if we could use it in a more day-to-day basis. Right now we use it at the Glenrose. We come in and we practice. And, sorry, did you want to say something?
but how are we gonna get the equipment? We're not yeah.
You'd be unsure of how that works, like how to get the equipment and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask maybe, Tristan, you've been emphasizing the fun parts of BCI, and we're thinking about, how can people have access to that in their, like you said, your home or your community. Are there examples from your past as a family of maybe less medical things that are supposed to be covered by the system and provided by the hospital, but things that you've pursued, maybe some other things you've tried in the past for fun, technologies or other sort of home-based activities that you did have to you did have to pay for and pursue and maybe worked or maybe didn't? Where does your early experience with BCI fit into that sort of, let's call it, fun and leisure type activities rather than these sort of medical things that we might be suggesting?
Well, Tristan did use a grid pad for a while. Did you want to talk about
Yep, which we don't have right now because it's
going back to access? I guess we don't have access to it right now. So, yeah.
You want to tell us why? You look like you want to express an opinion about the grid pad.
I love it, but we don't have it right now.
We're just waiting on.
Oh, you are? Okay. I thought maybe you had a thought about which one's better, BCI or some of those other technologies, but okay.
It was a great piece of equipment to use for Tristan to interact with the world around him. So there were some limitations to it too, where I can see BCI is really great at being able to make users interact with their world, which is really just to connect with their world, to connect with their family members. It's just, there's some beautiful things there.
Great. Super. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, we're making great progress. These are terrific answers, and as I said, feel free to jump in if you have other thoughts after I've asked. And we'll move on to question 5. I'll put this out there for anybody who'd like to comment. What was your experience in joining a lab as a patient partner like? How did you get involved? And what advice would you like to give to researchers and other potential patient partners who might be here?
Yeah, I can take that one.
You're all over this one, Paige.
Yeah, this is my moment. So I got involved with the lab actually through just like community engagement. So in Calgary, we have this program called Lifts for Kids, and it stands for Leveraging Inclusion and Friendship to Thrive After Stroke. So it's a community-based program that looks to connect kids who have had stroke and kind of build a sense of community amongst them. So this is actually where I went in to be a youth mentor, and I ended up meeting Anna. And she told me about her project and invited me to be a patient partner, and that's kind of where it all started. So I think a really big thing to make note of is the flexibility with patient partners. Like at the time I was living in Okotoks, and for those of you who don't know, it's about a 45-minute to an hour drive to get to the hospital. So I didn't want to waste that gas money, so we started out on Zoom, making those meetings, and then as I got more involved in the project, that's when I started to come into the hospital to test the equipment and give my feedback. And yeah, and that's just where, and it grew from there. But I think something to make note of for researchers that are trying to engage patient partners is the power and the power imbalance that patient partners have with the researchers. Something I was talking about before is we as patients, like me in particular, when I was engaged, I was still in high school and I had no medical background, and I felt like I had no business being a patient partner, giving my feedback on something that seemed so out of my experience. So I think it's really just trying to treat your partner as an equal. I know Anna and I really created a good friendship, so it was trust. I felt like I could tell her things, if positive or negative, if it needed to be. And I think that's really important, treating them as an equal, making sure that they know that their opinion is valued and is being used as a part of the project.
Super. Thanks, Peyton. Nina, Thomas, thoughts?
Yeah, I don't actually remember how we got initially referred to the program. I think we knew a lot of other families who had been involved with BCI at one point or another, and it really piqued our curiosity. So I think we had inquired and ultimately became a part of the program, which has been nothing but an extremely positive experience, getting to be a part of the team and really getting to shape how it looks for Thomas, taking our feedback, our input into what might motivate him. So I use the example, like he used the trainer and they created a race car track for him because he likes watching F1 racing. Like that was really motivating, and getting the siblings involved. And it made going to the hospital isn't always fun. Like we see a lot of different clinics and a lot of other appointments that aren't necessarily fun. And definitely Thomas showed a lot of excitement every time we would come to the hospital for a BCI appointment, and getting to use the trainer and see his wonderful therapists who are here. And so, yeah, I think just to reiterate what's already been said about to researchers, like, yeah, taking our opinions, our feedback into account and helping us to be made feel like a peer really helps. And I don't really have anything, I have nothing but positive things to say about the experience, and especially being here today and being welcomed like this. It's been really, really great. So
Great. Thanks so much. That's really music to our ears. And maybe to make, not to put you on the spot, but make it a little bit harder, it's so great to hear you say things like we're part of the team. I heard you say that a minute ago. We, and I think many people in this room, work hard to try to include and make patients and families feel like they're part of the research team and the clinical teams. Do you have advice for we feel like we're still working at it. I think we've had some success. Thank you for saying that. But what's your, how do we do that, and how do we do it better for people who want to do the same thing? What's your...
Yeah, we were in one of the workshops this morning and kind of touched on that. But I think feedback for researchers would be, get to know us as people. Like, get to know our likes and dislikes and what motivates us. Get to know, touched on, getting to know the family and everything like that. I think bringing that feedback and just having that personal connection a little bit more. I know there's, researchers and there's lines, but still we're all human. We're all in this. We're all trying to achieve the same thing. Everyone here is trying to improve the technology and advance it, and we have to learn to work together. And I think part of that is just getting to know us. So that would be my simplest feedback.
That's great. Thanks so much. Tristan, Rennie, a perspective from Edmonton's viewpoint about being a patient partner, how you got involved. Would you like to share?
Yeah, it was pretty easy for us to get involved because we already had a relationship.
Yep.
You want to talk? Yeah.
Yeah. We all we already went to the Glenrose, so we already had friendship.
We already had a friendship.
Before you'd ever heard of BCI, so you
Yeah.
were already, the Glenrose is the rehabilitation hospital in Edmonton, for those who don't know. And so maybe it grew out of that, of good relationships you already had in other programs. Is that what you mean, Tristan?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was easy for us to go ahead and try this because we trusted Green, we trusted, we already had a relationship, and we're like, yeah, well, if you think this is a good fit, we'll give it a try, and then we learn more about it. But because we had the relationship, it was easy to say yes to.
So it's an easy yes to try, and
Yes.
yeah, the trust word came up in I think all three of your comments, and so something that clinical programs, hopefully everybody here who does clinical work is always trying to earn the trust of their patients and families, but I think it's obviously a key for trying something that's new and different, and I certainly would say from our perspective, from our research team in Calgary, that the willingness and the buy-in from patients and families has been really remarkable. We've the commitment and the effort is we issue an invitation, and that's all we have to do, and the families are usually just fully committed from the beginning, and it's really fantastic. Okay, so those were our sort of 5 starter questions, and it's 6:30, so I wanted to have lots of time for questions from the audience. So the mics are open. There's, I see in those hallways there's mics, and one over here. Would anybody like to pose a question to our panel? Thanks, Rob. Go ahead.
But first of all, I don't know if it's on. First of all, thank you for being here. We appreciate it and sharing your insights with all of us. I'm wondering if you can give us an idea about some of the things you currently do with your BCI, and maybe if you could choose one new thing to do with it, what would you want to do?
Great question. Thanks. Tristan, you want to tackle that one? Tell people what you like to do with BCI and.
Work. And then I just realized, I can't move my legs.
So why don't you tell them what you do with BCI?
Well, I control my chair.
You control your chair. Yeah, you drive your power chair.
Yeah.
Great. And if you could pick one new activity, what ideas have you had about what you'd like to try next with BCI?
There's so many, it's hard to make.
Good answer. Yeah. If we could snap our fingers and make one today, what would you choose?
Playing Mario.
Playing Mario. Oh, I have a friend in Calgary you need to meet who plays Mario with his BCI. So we'll talk after. Let's see if we can do that. Great answer. Thoughts?
Yeah, to date, we've only really used it with the power trainer, so, which has been great. Where my would like to see him try, and hopefully there'd be some advancements there would be around communication. So we've tried many different communication devices, and like I said, kind of abandoned them. So I have a lot of mom guilt around that. But we know Thomas has a lot to say and wants to express himself. So we'd love to be able to see how BCI could be used to help make that happen. So, yeah.
Excellent, thanks. And certainly a common theme from our experience and the limited amount of research that's out there about priorities and targets for applications is probably the most consistent. So thanks for sharing that. Any thoughts, Peyton? No. We need to make your type of BCI more fun and usable for the teenagers, but you're working on that, right? So great. Other questions?
Hey,
what's your name again?
I know I could have walked up, and I was like, this is better to be over here. I just was gonna ask. This is specifically for Rennie and Nina. If you're looking at things like BCI to be used at home, could you just talk a little bit about what might be sort of any anticipation you might have in putting the headsets on, or any things that you'd really like to see from us as a society to help support you in being able to use it in different places in the community?
I've practiced a lot putting the headset on in the clinical setting. I think, okay, so apprehensions at home, really just the troubleshooting. Like, I know it's finicky. Like, I don't know, I'm not proficient with that yet. So knowing that there is a support available if it's in our home environment, and who to contact and how to make sure that it runs smoothly would be kind of like my biggest apprehension. But yeah, we're trying to learn as we go. I'm trying to learn how to put the cap on and make sure it works, and we're getting faster at it. So that's thanks, Jeanette. Yes, thanks to Jeanette. We have a good system now. I think our time, I don't know what our fastest time was, but it's kind of fun. We make sure all the dots turn green, and then we're good to go. Yeah, just having that support, knowing where to get that support in a home environment, for sure.
Thanks, Nina.
I think it would be the same for us. I think we would, we know we have the support and that we could get the training. Sometimes things just don't work, and that can cause frustration. But I think just knowing that we have the support to train us in what we should be doing if this happens, if that happens, then I think we would be good with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Great. And I think great question, Eli. Real targets for us to think about, not just reliability, but usability and support that have to be a part of giving families more independence and moving out into the community, which is one of the goals that both our sites are working on. So valuable to hear that. Thank you. Adam.
Hello. Thank you guys for coming. On this kind of headset topic, one of the things that our team talks about a lot is whether it's a simpler headset that's easier for you guys to set up, but is going to have worse performance, or a really good quality headset that's going to have higher performance, but it's going to be harder to set up and deal with, and has a lot more moving pieces. What are your guys' thoughts on this kind of battle that we're kind of wrestling with, and what is your opinions, perspectives for using the BCI outside of a clinical setting?
Thanks.
I mean, I think we would, I would be fine as long as I would know how to do it. So I don't know if it needs to be super simple, but I'd love it to work well. And I think being comfortable too is a big thing for Tristan, because it's a big distraction if something is kind of poking at your head and you're trying to focus. So sometimes I think that's a little bit tricky. I don't know if you want to mention something there, Tristan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so too?
Yeah.
We need to make some better headsets, Tristan, do you think?
Yep.
Yep. Thank you for being direct. Nina, thoughts?
Yeah, just probably a little bit of balance of the two. I mean, don't want to compromise a lot of functionality, but definitely having something that's easy to calibrate and makes that process faster and streamlined would be helpful. Yeah, we do get BCI haircuts periodically, and then it's a lot easier, but Thomas does have a lot of thick hair, so sometimes it makes it a little bit trickier, so yeah.
Great, thank you. Please.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I think it's for a lot of people here, it's special to see you come here and make us part of your life. I have a very difficult question, and it's a lot of what we talk about here is brain implants that require some surgery. What would it take for you as a parent to consider a surgery for a BCI? So, you know, in theory it works better, but you know, we're not, you know, being implanted. So,
Thank you, Nick. Thoughts about surgery for BCI?
It's fun, but I think it would be a bit creepy to have, yeah, to have something in, yeah, just like poking out, just like, hey.
Tristan's not a fan of surgery, so he might think differently than some other people. Like it just, some people have different experiences, and that might be a better fit for them. And Tristan, I'm not sure if that would be something he's interested in. And so.
Nina, thoughts about that?
I don't know. I mean, up until yesterday, I hadn't even really known that existed too much. So we've avoided a lot of surgeries to date, and I think, you know, kind of monitoring and see how that technology evolves, the safeties around it, what it means long term, having a bit more of that data available would help maybe influence my decision. But it's really promising to know that that technology is out there and that it is kind of moving that way. But it's hard to make that decision today. But I'll think about it.
It is a hard question. I'm really glad it was posed.
Yeah.
I was actually going to mention that all of our patient partners participated in one of the workshops this morning on patient engagement, and you were all really fantastic. That was really terrific. At the same time, next door to it was the roadmap to trying to figure out what needs to happen for implantables to work for young BCI users and young people with cerebral palsy and other conditions. And so we unfortunately couldn't have you couldn't be in two places at once, but I think it was one of the few things that was missing from the implantable roadmap was patient engagement that we of course are really interested in. And if I can just expand on the question that if I heard you, and I think we've heard a little bit from other families, that there's a sort of not an outright dismissal, but a lot of uncertainty and questions. This room is full of all the experts who've pioneered that type of work. Some of what you've already answered would be probably similar to what a lot of adult BCI patients might say of, well, you know, it would have to be much more effective and it would have to be really safe, and some of the common themes. As parents and as young people, are there differences from your points of view for a young BCI user, so someone who's a mature teenager or a younger child? Do you have any additional thoughts about how that might influence a family's decision to weigh the risks and benefits of considering implantable or a surgical type of BCI?
No.
I think just the thought of it, just like you were talking about the uncertainty of it, or that it kind of just makes it a little difficult to kind of picture. So we would just have a lot of questions about it. Right. Tristan, he is a young user, so we're helping him make his decisions, and He's got his own mind. He's got his own ideas about things. So I think that also comes into play. Like he's got to have the all in. So if he needs to be the one to essentially make that choice.
Great.
Yeah.
That's a really on-point answer, and I wondered if some of our neuroethics experts who spoke this morning might want to weigh in. That one of the issues is of course, is their autonomy as young people and their ability to make those decisions, and when. It's an additional challenge for the youngest users, I think, that will require a lot of thought. And anything else, Nina, you wanted to add?
No, it's just a lot to take in. It's a pretty complicated decision to make. So it would be something our whole family would have to definitely weigh in and make sure that it's the right, the risks or the benefits outweigh the risks, and be confident that it's in the best interest of Thomas. So I think I'll leave it at that. I don't know enough right now to be able to really comment on that, but it is an interesting technology. Yeah.
Your willingness to think about it is terrific. And to be honest, we don't know yet either. And we're really, I think, as this community is starting to work on it, and gaining your perspectives like you're sharing today are a key part of figuring out how to do that. So thanks for sharing your honest thoughts. Question.
Hi, Peyton, this question is for you. So as someone who has participated as a patient partner, do you have any suggestions to the people in the room who are looking to incorporate young adult patient partners into their research? Any suggestions for ways to decrease barriers or make the process a little bit more appealing or enjoyable?
Yeah, so actually in the workshop this morning we were talking about this a little bit, how to make it more accessible, how to get to teenagers. And I think that one of the big things is when you're trying to recruit patient partners, it's usually you as a researcher that's going to them. So it's you with a lot of power, a lot of authority, maybe a little bit older than the patient partners. You can't really relate to them on the same level. So I think to get other patient partners to be with you in the recruitment process, or to lead the recruitment process to help share their experience and what they are doing as a patient partner with their peers, would be an effective way to get patient partners involved and engaged.
Great answer, Peyton. Thank you. Other questions? Please.
Thank you guys for being here and sharing your experiences. I apologize if this is a sensitive question, but I do think it's important. How do you all experience the way that BCI developments are shared in both the media or the technical community, and these hype cycles that pop up and sometimes disappear? Do you feel like they track reality, and how do you experience them?
Good question, thanks. Thoughts? Maybe just to rephrase it a little bit, there has been, I think, you could mention your personal family experiences. I remember, Nina, you and Thomas participated in an event we had with Kids Brain Health, which is a national organization in Canada. They and a group wanted to come to see, and we asked you, would you be willing to, if Thomas would be willing to sort of show off his skills and tell us your experience. And there's been some media around that, and it does sometimes, maybe to the point of your question, I think there's public interest, but there's also, sometimes there is a danger of hype or too much exaggeration or expectation. Can you tell us what it's like if, and I'm not sure if this has happened for you guys in Edmonton, but do you feel like the public awareness and the media and the talk around BCI is fair and honest, or is it maybe exaggerated sometimes?
I guess I wasn't really aware of all the media attention behind it. And I know media can present things different ways, and there's not really a lot of control you have over how they're going to do that. In that example where we did participate, we were happy to do so. I think we're happy to help raise awareness of the technology. I think that's really important. But yeah, beyond that, I'm not really sure of the negative, or not negative, I don't know, the different takes on it, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think similar for us. Yeah, we don't know a lot of the media around it. Our experience would probably be more about what the people around us think of BCI when just your typical person who just can't really fathom what this technology is, and they ask questions like, it's reading your brain, like, you know, they don't totally understand what it is. Right. So Tristan was able to do an interview recently and was able to share it to people around him too. So that was a really neat experience because I think it helped just people understand a little bit more what the technology does.
Right. I mean, from our point of view, it's really invaluable, I think, to help raise awareness and advocacy. And Tristan, can you tell us what it was like to do the interview? Was this like on TV or? And do you mind? Do you like doing that? Do you mind?
Like being interviewed, but like I don't want to be interviewed like all the time because it was fun, no doubt, but I'm just a regular person who does things with his friends and who hangs out. So I was happy to do it like for the partner, like for the fun of it, because who wouldn't want to see your interview on global news?
Well, Tristan, it's amazing that you do that. It takes a lot of courage to go on the news or to sit here in front of however many hundreds of people, and you have a strong voice for yourself, but also for your peers and other young people sometimes who can't speak as well as you. And so to get up and do it, we really admire you for that and really appreciate you doing it. Even though I think I heard you say that. Did you say you don't want to be interviewed all the time? You didn't say you don't want to be interviewed by me, I hope, because maybe not all the time.
Not all the time, because I am just a normal 20-year-old dude that likes to hang out with his friends and likes just being with people without being with people but not being.
Right. I heard you. Yeah, I don't know too many other 20-year-old dudes who want to hang out on a stage like this or on the news. So yeah, we get it, and we really appreciate it.
Because like you don't like something my music teacher says, you don't have to always be on a stage to make an impact. All you have to do is read somebody's song and just I want to, like, don't get me wrong, interviewing is fun, but I want to ask, I want to be a normal 20-year-old dude too, even though it doesn't look like it, I still very much miss my friends deeply, and I really, I really want am excited to see them again on Friday via Zoom. Like my friends have taught me a lot, and um like I hope I'm not making it sound like I'm dissing anyone because I don't want to ever do that. But you know, the feeling that you get after you've been someplace and then you get emotional about not seeing your friends. That's how I feel. It was great to be here though, but I'm just really missing my friends.
Right. We get it. We get it. Thanks for sharing your personal story about it sounds like you have amazing friends, and that's great. And we don't take it personally that you would rather be hanging out with them than us tonight. But,
I didn't mean that.
maybe, but we love having you here. So thank you for doing it.
I'm glad to be here, and now I'm regretting saying that.
No. We can be your friends too. Not as good as your regular friends, but we're your friends tonight.
It's really cool how you said that, what your teacher said, that you don't have to be on the stage to make an impact. I think that it's really cool that everybody here is doing something in their day-to-day to make BCI better. So that's awesome.
Great. Thank you both. I think we have a couple more questions. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a quick one. You talked about how to make BCI work at home, and we know that therapeutically that's really important. But you need support, and I'm just curious, how would you best receive that support? What would be the best way to get that in the home?
Yeah, having
Aside from having someone there with you.
Yeah, not there all the time. I mean, that doesn't have to be the case. I mean, like someone that you could call and they would be responsive quickly, or be able to answer your questions to help walk you through troubleshoot. Like I'm okay to learn, and I think want to learn how to use troubleshoot it on my own. So someone that can be there to teach me how so I can use it would be the support that I would be looking for, and having a reliable person to be able to do that. Yeah.
Great. Ready? Thoughts?
Yeah, I think exactly the same for us. Just to have somebody there that could that we can call, that would help us troubleshoot if any issues came up, and I think that just goes back to having the relationship where you know that you have somebody there that you can call, that you can ask to help.
Great. Thank you. Thanks both. Another question?
Hi. For some BCI application, as designers, we can interfere the real performance of the user. So do you prefer to have the real feedbacks of your performance and be frustrated, especially at the beginning when you start to train? Or do you prefer to be a bit encouraged to continue with tricky feedback?
Interesting question. Thanks. Do you understand what he was asking?
I think the second answer. I wouldn't want that. I don't know. I think that would be discouraging if the feedback came back initially that it was, I think. Is that what your question is saying?
For example, if you try to control a car, a sport car on a circuit or a race, and you try to control the direction of the car, we know where are the border of the road, for example, so we can avoid some accidents. But the user is not completely controlling the car this way. So do you prefer to know the real control you have and sometimes be frustrated, or have some assistance, especially at the beginning?
I think at the beginning, I think having some assistance is encouraging. You want to kind of not know that you're, you want some encouragement to know that you're not doing it really badly from the start, I think. So I think having a little bit of help would be my preference, but I don't know what you think.
I think the same, yeah, just to be able to have little successes on the way is very encouraging.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think it's a pertinent question, especially for really young users, just to even try to get the concept that, yeah, a complete fail from the beginning is a tough place to start from, and yeah, but we want to be honest, and so thanks for your answers. We're almost at the top of the hour. Maybe one more, please.
Hello. Yeah, so I'm really interested in understanding kind of participant journey from enrollment to, successful outcome. And I guess, both of you kind of have lived experience with going through this journey. My question is, at any point in this journey, was there ever like an aha moment where it's like, oh, now I get how to do this, or I get how to use this, and everything just got a lot better? And if so, looking back on it, and you're going through day one today, what would you tell day one you that would make everything a lot smoother?
Thanks, good question.
I think for Tristan, what would be your aha moment where you thought, I can do this? I think just having successes that really stand out, that I think Tristan mentioned this before, really fun times. I know a highlight was when an obstacle course was made, and Tristan, you want to tell the story?
Or the moment,
I got it.
the moment when Jose went into
Yeah, he had a volunteer become an obstacle that he had to actually hit. So
That's a brave volunteer. Is he here
yes,
tonight?
yes, there he is, right there. Yeah.
Should stand up and take a bow. That's commitment. Yeah. And that was an aha when you realized that you didn't have to run Hussein over, and you could use BCI to do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Great answer.
I think I can't pinpoint an exact aha moment, but definitely when we started to tailor his driving more to him and make it more fun. So when we brought in the checkered flags and the race car and had it be more of a game for him, I think we saw he progressed quickly, and then we've kind of built on that from that point. He then started getting a little bit more bored of the track, like he had passed the track. So now when he goes, we use the mobility trainer on the main floor of the Children's Hospital, and he gets to go to the reception desk, and then he gets to go to the elevators, and he gets to actually move around the main floor of the hospital, which has been a new success for him. He's independent, and we wonder, okay, well, why is he stopping here? Okay, go, but he's stopping there because, now he gets to talk to the receptionist, and the therapy dogs come in, and there's his friend over there, and it's really cool. So that's kind of been the aha moment for us, is seeing, this is really, seeing it in a practical setting, and what it might look like in the future, where he might be able to drive, I don't know, in our house or in the mall or something like that. So I think if you were to talk to me starting it, really incorporate looking at what motivates them and making the activity fun from the start, as opposed to just let's move from A to B on the ground is not that exciting. So yeah.
That seems like a really great place to finish, because thank you for sharing that story. And so I'd like to thank our panel for making the time and being so personal, sharing their stories. And it's really, I'm sure I speak for everybody here, it's really inspiring for us to to hear from you, and it really motivates us to work harder. And so thank you so much. Please join me in thanking them.